The TTOC 22 bracket has just been released. Let's analyze it. We'll start with the top match, which is Spiros04 versus Soul Panda. Spiros04 is trying to reclaim his former glory of finishing top 3 in TTOC, while Soul Panda is looking to rebound from a crushing defeat in last year's TTOC to the eventual winner. I actually view this as one of the most even matchups in the first round, as I think Spiros actually has a chance. Although I think Soul Panda is a little bit more skilled than Spiros, so I'm going to have to give him the win for this match with a score of 15-12. Next up in the first round, we have Skull Smasher versus Nell Fusion. Skull Smasher is one of 4 first-time competitors in TTOC. He faces Nell Fusion, a decorated TTOC veteran known for his 2 wins and second-place finish in TTOC 20. This is quite the unfortunate first matchup for Skull Smasher, as Nell Fusion outclasses him in pretty much every way. We'll see if he can somehow pull it off, but personally, I don't have a lot of hope. I'll give Nell Fusion the win with a score of 15-3. Our third match is Jellican versus Golden Tank 007. Jellican has participated in TTOC before, her most notable achievement being her second place finish in Gold Rush. Her opponent, Golden Tank 007, is also a first-time competitor that has been given a tough first-round draw. Just like the last match, I don't see much hope for Golden Tank 007 against such an experienced tanker, but hopefully the experience is worth it. I'll give Jellican the win with a score of 15-4. The next match is Envy versus Ushanka. Envy hasn't participated in TTOC since 2019 when he didn't show up for his first match. Let's hope this TTOC turns out differently. His opponent, Ushanka, formerly known as Rexic, is also a first-time competitor. Unfortunately, his draw may be the toughest among the first-time competitors. Although Envy doesn't have much TTOC experience, he has plenty of TankTrouble experience and is one of the top players in the game right now. I'll give Envy the win with a score of 15-2. Well, the previous 3 matches have been quite one-sided. Let's see if the bottom half of the first round is a bit more exciting. The first matchup in the bottom half is Redwind versus Joel 5D. Well, this one isn't quite as one-sided as the previous 3, but it's not much more balanced. Although Redwind is a solid player, his skills don't quite match up to Joel 5D's, who is expected to be competitive for the crown this year. I'll give this one to Joel 5D with a score of 15-6. The next matchup is CosmosAblaze versus Monster 16. Oh hey, that's me. I'll do my best to give a mostly unbiased view of this match. I'll say this is the most even matchup in the first round. It could really go either way. Since I'm an Atlanta player and Monster 16 is a Singapore player, ping is likely to be a large factor in who will win as well. So this could end up being a toss-up. I'll give myself the edge as I haven't seen enough results from him to predict otherwise, but I wouldn't be surprised if Monster won. I predict a score of 15-11. Our second to last matchup in the first round is YD109 versus Invader. Unfortunately, this matchup isn't quite as good as the previous one. I'd consider YD109 to be around my skill or better, and I beat Invader 15-3 and 15-7 the other day. There isn't much to say for this match. I'll give this one to YD109 with a score of 15-5. Unfortunately, we did not save the best matchup for last. In fact, it might be the opposite. This final matchup is Blaze the Best versus Eternity. Do I even have to comment on this one? Eternity trounced me not that long ago, and I think he'll do the same to Blaze the Best. Unless Eternity doesn't show up for his match, Blaze the Best just doesn't have much of a chance. I'll give this one to Eternity with a score of 15-0. And there's the first round. My projected second round matchups are Soul Panda versus Nell Fusion, Jellican versus Envy, Joel 5D versus CosmosAblaze, and YD109 versus Eternity. These matchups are a whole lot more interesting than the first round matchups, so let's go through them. First off, we have Soul Panda versus Nell Fusion. Soul Panda is a Newark player while Nell Fusion is a London player, so ping could be a factor in this match. However, Nell Fusion has some more experience, both in TTOC and in TankTrouble as a whole, so I'm going to give the slight advantage to the TTOC veteran. I think Nell Fusion wins with a score of 15-13. Next up, we have Jellican versus Envy. Jellican and Envy are both Newark players, so I don't think ping will play much of a factor in this match. However, Envy has been having some frame rate issues over the past few days, so that could play a factor. Although even with that issue, Envy has been playing very well and has the edge in this matchup, barring some very bad issues during the match. So, unlike the previous matchup, I'm going to give this one to the tank with less TTOC experience. I think Envy wins with a score of 15-10. The third match of the second round is Joel 5D versus CosmosAblaze. Just like for my previous match, I'll try to be as unbiased as possible. Just like with the first match of the second round, ping could play a factor since Joel is a London player and I am an Atlanta player. Although we're even with most of our core skills, like dodging and shooting, I don't think I'm consistent enough to perform well throughout the entire match. Therefore, I think that Joel has the edge here, so I'll give Joel 5D the victory with a score of 15-11. The final match of the second round is YD109 versus Eternity. I'm gonna be honest, I don't see a lot of hope for YD either. Eternity is just that good, even with him having higher than normal ping due to being away from home. However, I do think that YD will put up a lot more of a fight than Blaze did, so I'm going to give this one to Eternity with a score of 15-9. Alright, the second round predictions are now done. That leaves us with Null Fusion versus Envy, and Joel 5D versus Eternity for the semifinals. Let's start with Null Fusion versus Envy. By this point, I think Envy will have fixed up his frame rate issues at least a little bit by either closing out some tabs or just improving the performance of the computer somehow. So his skills get a decent boost from that. I think this, combined with Envy fully unrusting, will give Envy the slight edge in this matchup. I predict that Envy will win this one 15-12. On the other side of the bracket, we have Joel 5D versus Eternity. Just like the previous Eternity matches, I really don't think that Joel will win, but I think he'll definitely come close. Plus, Joel is a London player, and I believe that Eternity will still be out of the country for this match, giving Joel the ping advantage in every single server. I'll give Eternity the win with a score of 15-11. Alright, we only have 2 matches left. The finals match, which is Envy versus Eternity, and the third place match, which is Null Fusion versus Joel 5D. Let's start with the third place match. Can Null Fusion bounce back from a loss to Envy in order to beat Joel 5D? Or will Joel 5D take out his frustrations from his match with Eternity on Null Fusion and take third place? I think this will be a really close fight, but Joel 5D will be determined to finish top 3 and earn the Golden Wreath, and he'll pull it out in the end. I'll give Joel 5D the win 15-13. Alright, we finally reached the finals. This matchup features Envy facing off against Eternity, who I think will be back in the US for this matchup. So who do I have winning this matchup? Drumroll please. I think Eternity will pull it out. Since Eternity will likely be back in the US for this matchup, the ping issues that he is currently having will be gone, allowing him to go all out. In this case, I don't see Envy beating Eternity. I believe that the final score for this matchup will be 15-12. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Before the next battle begins, you can watch this hilarious video where a bunch of TankTrouble players come together to play TankTrouble themed Skribble.io. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!